Now, despite what your favourite YouTuber will be telling you, Sker Ritual is not a Call of Duty Zombies killer. In fact, it doesn't even really get close. So if you want an unbiased review, this is the perfect video for you. Now I'm just going to go through some overall points before we talk about the good and the bad. This game is clearly inspired by Call of Duty. Almost a bit too much if you ask me. Things like max ammo, perks, self-revives, and even mechanics from Cold War and Vanguard are present in this game. I do find it a bit strange that they decided to make a game that is so similar to Call of Duty. At 17 quid, if you're a fan of round-based zombies and it's kind of your favourite game to play, then this game is perfect for you. It does everything that Call of Duty does. Rounds, bosses, Easter eggs, wonder weapons, all the stuff you'd expect to see in a zombies map is in this game. The 4 maps at launch are obviously a good. The fact that there are 4 maps from the start is good. It means that you can go on each of the maps and have a different experience every time you play them. The fact that the game was made by a small group of people should be commended. However, for this review specifically, they're not going to get any extra bonus points from me, because they still have to pay £17 for a game, and so everything I'm about to say should be prefaced by saying that I know the game was made by a small amount of people, but I still think that these are valid criticisms of the game, because to be honest, I can't think of any other positives about this game. The movement in this game feels very clunky and feels no worse than what it was in World at War. Sliding is in the game, but it feels a bit out of place almost, due to the aspect of the game that is supposed to feel quite horror and scary like. However, sliding around the place kind of takes away from the horror aspect of the game. All the enemies have the same attacks other than the range ones. This leads to the gameplay feeling very stale very quickly. The zombies also have terrible pathing, and you can kind of just stand still and just knife them in the early rounds, and they won't be able to swarm you like they do in Call of Duty. The reason that Call of Duty gets away with special zombies is because we've got used to fighting the original zombie from Nakta and Toten, so when they add things in like the Shriekers or the Napalms, it's a change of pace. However, on this game, because it's like this from the start, you're kind of having to learn how to deal with all these different zombies at the same time. Mix this with the clunky aiming mechanics and weird gun selection, and makes the enemies feel very basic, and the combat is even more so. The animations are poor, with all the zombies having the same kind of run animation, making it look almost silly at some points. The bosses aren't very innovative, they just do more damage. Fighting the bigger bosses with the health bars is almost comical. I have footage of me shooting them doing the attack, and then me walking 3 steps back, rinse and repeat until they're dead. Now, I understand that this is a indie game and that the developers obviously don't have the resources that Call of Duty do, but these are things that ruin the experience of a game, and when you've got to compete with Call of Duty, which they are making very evident in their game that they are trying to do that, it kind of falls flat. Whilst the game is trying to be a bit more scary than Call of Duty is, with its Resident Evil theme, it's almost comical. Look at this here, it says, "She can't be trusted." Could you think of a more generic and cliche thing that you could write on a wall in a horror game? The story isn't interesting and doesn't captivate me at all, and I have no intention of learning more about this girl and her family that are creating these zombie things. The girl in the story is treated the same way that Weaver is in Cold War. She just talks to you sporadically throughout the game. I also don't understand why they've added guns from the late 1960s when the game is set in 1914. Call of Duty does this, but they get away with it because they're having to put guns in on a game that's already been made. For instance, you have to put Black Ops guns into Black Ops maps. However, they don't have the same type of issue, so I don't understand why they've added these strange guns like the AK-47, the M14. Though the map selection is good in the sense that there's 4 to choose from, even the things like the names of the maps are almost comical. Look at the names of the maps. This is again something that is so basic, and you would think they'd be a bit more clever with the names. The overall problem with the game is that it's trying to be Call of Duty Zombies, and I don't understand why. They should have tried to make their own spin on zombies, and whilst you could argue they did try it, there are so many features that are clearly inspired from even the more recent games that I don't understand why you'd rather play this over something like World War II Zombies or even Vanguard Zombies. If this is the experience that you want, this is no better than Vanguard. And believe it or not, that isn't even an insult to this game. This game was made by less than 10 developers, Vanguard was made by 200, and a team of 5 has managed to create an experience that does rival Vanguard. The problem is that this game lacks identity. It's just being called the Call of Duty Zombies Killer. No one even calls it by its own name, and I think that is a problem in itself. Sker Ritual tries too hard to be Call of Duty Zombies. I wish they'd spent less time trying to make Call of Duty Zombies and more time trying to make Sker Ritual. For £17, you are definitely getting a good Zombies experience, but don't be surprised when the experience that you were promised by these bigger YouTubers isn't exactly what you thought it would be. So, just to give my final thoughts on Sker Ritual, if you like round-based zombies and it's the only type of game you play, then you will enjoy this. However, if you're a bit more cynical like I am, and only like the best zombies experiences, then you're going to have to wait until this game gets a bit better. It feels very basic, and though it's no fault of the developers, it is unfortunately the sad reality of this game. Buy it if you enjoy zombies, but only if you... Now originally I was never even going to buy this game, because I could already kind of tell that it wasn't going to be that good. However, I couldn't stop seeing all of these zombie YouTubers saying that this is the card killer and this is the best game to come out since Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, I don't know if you realised, but a lot of the reviews of this game are actually paid for by the team of Sker Ritual, and that is why I wanted to give this honest opinion, so you could get an unbiased view of this game. Now, I think this shows a bigger problem in the zombies community, and it's that we're being starved of anything good. So when something that's quite mediocre, not in a bad way, but it's very okay, comes along, we put it on this pedestal because we've got nothing to compare it to. We're comparing it to Modern Warfare 3 zombies, Vanguard zombies, and World War 2 zombies. Now, you can tell the people that made Sker Ritual play zombies, and not because 99% of the things in the game are from the original zombies, but because they have brought this game out when zombies is absolutely in the worst state it's ever been in. They have seized the opportunity, and everyone has eaten it up. This has come out when zombies is an all-time low, and I think that is why this game is probably getting more praise than it probably does deserve, because we are so starved for any decent content that when a decent game comes along, we hype it up because we've got nothing to compare it to, and everything we do compare it to is rubbish. I'm not saying that if you like this game, you're deluded. In fact, I'm almost saying the opposite. You need to play this game for yourself and decide whether it's good or not, but this game should not be the standard of Call of Duty Zombies Killers. This should be the base level. This should be what we get in every single game that tries to mimic the zombies formula, or indeed the zombies games themselves. Sker Ritual shows us a bigger problem with the community. My opinion on Sker Ritual is that you should buy it and you should play it. You need to support people that are trying to reinvent the zombies formula. You just need to be critical of them when they make decisions that you don't agree with. You've got to push people, like the people that make Sker Ritual, but also the people that make regular Call of Duty zombies. You've got to push them to not settle for mediocrity. Let me know what you think about Sker Ritual if you've ever played it, if I've sold you on the game or if I haven't, and what you think about the larger community. Thanks for watching, and I promise from now on I'll make more positive videos.